Man, so usually I'm used to joining you guys outside at the shop and then we kind of walk into the shop together. That's usually the way that I do things with my channel and with my videos, but today it's a little bit different. Today you're joining me out on the road. Obviously that's where we're at right now in Old Betty White, the 1988 Honda Accord. And you're joining me. I'm on my way. You saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. I'm on my way to go hopefully buy some seats. If this video's up, if the title is what it is, you already know before I know at this time that I bought some seats. So that's pretty exciting, I guess. And I guess we'll do the intro and then I'll talk about what I'm doing.
And now you're watching the drunken hurricane party that was, is, and will be the state of Florida channel of YouTube. Welcome to BodeVision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video. So right now I'm on my way to one of the local JDM import spots. There's a couple of them in Orlando. I actually called around to see who had what. So the one that seemed to be the most promising is the one that I am on the way to right now. And I just left the bank, I got some cash, and that's what I'm doing. So anyways, with Project Pepto, the seats that I'm looking at are the seats that I'm thinking about. They're just some red Recaros, whether they're the DC2 or the DC5 Recaros. I'm a huge fan of OEM JDM seats. Sparkos are cool, the NRG ones are cool, the Brides are cool, all that stuff is cool, but I actually prefer the Recaros just because it's what came in the Hondas, and I'm a huge OEM fanboy when it comes to stuff like that. And the tone or the vibe that I want Project Pepto to have is I want it to be OEM plus, like, not, well, in a lot of aspects. I don't want to go too crazy track with it. I don't want to go too crazy stance with it. I just want it to be a nice, clean BodeVision style, if you will. So that's the game plan. So right now I'm on my way there, and maybe I'll do a little time lapse, show you guys the drive. I'm about 45 minutes away, and I'll see you in a second when I'm taking a look at the seats. Alrighty, so here we are, Sunshine State JDM. Let's see what they have in stock for me. DC5, did you guys get the clip by itself, or you guys just got the seats in the container?
No, we got the clip.
You got the clip, and the clip's already gone?
We still got the clip.
Oh, okay, well, cool, man. I guess we'll pull them down, and I want to take a little closer look at it, and then we're gonna talk some money, and maybe we'll make a deal. We'll just have to see. So we're actually gonna go with him right now. He's getting my change, and then the only imperfection is right there. And then right there, but that's really common. All these seats are always like that, and to find a mint, super mint, untouched pair, you're gonna have to pay a whole bunch of money for them. I think that I got a pretty fair deal. I'm definitely happy with what I got. And then I wanted to give you guys a little tour over here, Sunshine State JDM. They got a whole bunch of things if you're in the Orlando area, and they'll also ship out. So a whole bunch of front clips, trunks. We've got the SIR one right there. This is also super nice. Man. Really nice, really cool looking stuff. And then also they have all the motors. They got K series, B series, they have motors for 350Zs. They got motors for everything over here. Everything you could want in a JDM import place, they got it. So I'm gonna put all their information in the description below. And Sunshine State JDM, huge shout out. Thank you guys so much for working with me. And I'm gonna get these seats loaded up, and then we're gonna head our way back to the shop. Alright, so we are just leaving Sunshine State. We're just leaving Sunshine State JDM, and if you thought for 1 second that I was gonna have a hard time fitting some seats in the back of Betty White, you gotta understand, Betty White, she's had some stuff in the trunk before, so it's just fine. I knew without a doubt that they were gonna fit. But anyways, so we are back on the way to our shop now. Once we get to the shop, I'll take them out, and then we'll kind of see how they look up against the Integra, how they mount and everything. I was told they don't know if they're gonna mount perfectly, and I don't have any experience mounting any DC5 or RSX seats into an Integra. I think that they should work, and if they don't work, I mean, we'll figure it out either way. Alrighty, so as you can see, the DC5 Recaro's sitting right here, looking really good. Now, one thing that I'm kind kind of concerned about, or maybe thinking might be a little bit weird, is they look awful tall. I'm gonna pull them out next to my stock Integra seats. Now I know they're definitely gonna be bigger than the stock Integra seats just because of the nature of what they are, being Recaros and everything. They're a little bit more stout, if you will. So that's going to be the case. I guess the next thing I got to do is I got to pull the stock seats out, and then I'm going to sit them next to each other, kind of compare them, and maybe if anything, if I feel like they are sitting a little bit too high, I might try to modify the rails or swap the rails with the Integra rails, or just kind of look at it. But the only way to actually know what I got to do is by just doing it and actually seeing. Alright, so two things that I noticed right off the bat. Well, check it out. I mean, it looks good. Also, keep in mind, the pink and the red look kind of funny. I have no intention of keeping this car pink. I know a couple people had said, keep it pink, it's kind of growing on me. Some people said, I hate the car pink. I hate the car pink. When are you gonna paint it? I'm gonna be painting it soon, just not right now. I wanna do everything that I'm going to be doing to the car while the car is pink, while I don't mind it getting scratched or messed up or anything. I just don't have to be too careful. Then when the car is where I want it to be, then I'm gonna go through and paint it. But anyways, the two problems that I see, number one, I don't like how high it sits. I feel like it looks all right, but comparing them to how the other seats are, that's quite a big difference. So that's one thing that I actually don't like too much about the Recaro seats, is I just kind of feel like they're really big. So if I can get them to come down a little bit, that'll be really good. And then also where they mount, those don't exactly line up either. And these did come out of a DC5, which is an RSX. It's just the predecessor Integra from this Integra to the next one, but they changed up the seats a little bit, and that's okay. So I'm gonna have to modify them anyways, so I might as well modify them to get the height that I want. And then also I gotta modify something to have them bolt in. I'm not just gonna do 2 bolts, or I'm not just gonna do 3 bolts. I wanna completely modify them so that way they do fit properly. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the other one, or look at one of them, and figure out exactly how I wanna cut and weld, do whatever to make them where I'm gonna be happy with them. So as you can see, I got the rails off. Those are the DC5 rails right there. And then the Integra rails, or the DC2 rails, one of them is right here. And then the other one is actually outside on top of my vise. So what I'm thinking that I'm gonna do is this bracket stock goes right there. And this is the DC5 bracket. And then that stacks on to this right here. So this thickness plus that bracket is about 4 inches, maybe 3.5 inches. So what I'm thinking is, if I take the Integra rails, or the rails that came on the DC2 or the stock Integra seats, and I get them to bolt onto here, see how that hole right there lines up, that hole right there, and then I gotta get it to slide down, and then I'm gonna do another hole right there. So I gotta go ahead and get rid of these studs, that one right there, and that one right there. I gotta go ahead and grind those off, and then I'm just gonna be able to utilize the stock rails in theory. Now that one seems pretty straightforward. I know exactly what I'm gonna have to cut off to make it work. But instead of doing the easy one first, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one, because all these brackets need to be cut off, so that way I can just utilize the same exact rail system the same way the other side looks. I don't know if this is gonna work. This is kind of more along the lines of, hopefully it works, and if it doesn't work, I'm kind of screwed, because I'm cutting up the only good seats. But you gotta take a risk sometimes with this stuff, right? so I went ahead and I trimmed those down. And another thing, like I mentioned a minute ago, not only are these brackets so tall, they're actually not the right width. So from this hole, from there to there, center on center is exactly 16 inches. Now in here, I just have this blue tape. That blue tape is just representing what I'm going to have to add to it. So from here, center to center is 17 inches. So I'm gonna have to come in 1/2 of an inch each direction. So the idea is that blue tape will then be metal, and then that's gonna bolt to here, and then there, and then those are gonna be welded to those rails. So the rail is gonna become one unit. Well, we'll just have to see. I don't know if it's gonna end up being one piece or two pieces in the end, because the fact that 16 inches to 17 inches is such a small amount that might get in the way of having to bolt them in. We'll just have to see. But the next thing that I gotta do is I gotta turn, instead of this just being taped, I gotta make that metal, and then I gotta see exactly how it's gonna fit on here. Now another thing that I gotta do, another thing that I gotta keep in mind, is I want this to work just like it would have worked before. I just have the little rod out right now just for mock-up purposes, but whenever I'm going about doing anything, whenever I do anything on a car, I always want it to work as close to factory as possible. Now the easy way out of all this would be to just sit them in there, bolt them in according to how tall I am and where I think that they're comfortable, but I don't want to do that. I kind of want to make it a little bit challenging. I think it's kind of cool, I think it's kind of fun, and it's so much more satisfying in the end. Alright, so I don't know if it's easy to tell or easy to see, but look how much. Let me get a tape measure. So one has a 6-inch gap and the other has a 4-inch gap. Obviously the one that we lowered has a 6-inch gap, meaning a difference of 2 inches. Now 2 inches isn't very big if you think about it, but really that's kind of huge when it comes to your driving position, you know what I mean? Think about if you're sitting up 2 inches higher, or if you're sitting down 2 inches lower. And also I just think it looks so much better. You can really tell. Let me see the top of that one, and the top of that one is way up there. So I don't have that stuff right now. I'm gonna have to go to the store, get some metal, and then that'll all be in the next video. So coming up right now, if you guys are in Florida, you know there's a hurricane coming. I'm actually gonna be out of the state. I'm going up to Chicago for the weekend, and that was planned a long time ago. So hopefully everything is just fine with the shop. I went ahead and I boarded up my little window. You can see right there. And I don't know if that's gonna do much, but I'd rather not have my window break and have to have me replace it. So I just threw a little piece of wood over it. And I've been in Orlando, Florida since 1993. Every single storm that's came through since then, I've been here for it. This is actually the first storm that I'm not gonna be here. And I'm kind of sad because I'd prefer to be here. I think it's kind of cool, it's kind of fun. It's kind of relaxing to just stay inside for a couple days. If we lose power, that sucks, but overall, it's pretty cool. Hopefully my flight on the way back, I'm flying back in Monday. That's when the storm's supposed to be here. As of right now, at the time of me recording this video, it's supposed to be a Category 3 hurricane. Hopefully it's not that bad. Just a little wind, just a little rain, and it is gonna be all good. So with the seat, I was hoping it was gonna bolt in, but then I wouldn't have as much cool content to show you. So let me know what you think about it. They don't fit right now. The color doesn't match right now. By the time the car gets painted, by the time I make them fit, I think they're gonna look really good. DC5 Recaros, DC2 Integra, Project Pepto, I'm feeling it. So that's gonna do it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, check out the merch down below, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. Stay safe out there, Orlando and Central Florida. I'm out.